Welcome to our first ever Substack Live. It's a new feature that they just added fairly recently, so we wanted to test it out and see how it worked and everything. So Jess and I decided, because it's eclipse season, that it would be cool to just do dragon readings today. So here we are. So if you're joining, if you're here, give us a shout out. I don't know how this is going to be on my end as far as seeing messages or comments or anything, because this is, like I said, the first time that we're doing this. So it's a huge experiment and test, and Mercury stations tomorrow. So I'm glad that we made it this far.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah. So we're gonna, just dive into the eclipse energy a little bit and pull some dragon cards if we can, for anyone joining that wants one. Just try and write a message or comment, and I'll see if I can see it on our end, and we can start a list. And I think maybe we should just kind of chat about the eclipse, Jess, and then maybe pull some collective cards and see how this goes.
Sounds good.
How do you feel this morning?
Better than yesterday. So, yeah, my energy was really tapped or something yesterday. So as far as eclipses go, it was significantly less intense as far as events that went on in my life. But my energy was just, I barely made it through the day and passed out as soon as I got home. And so did my partner, and so did the children I look after. And so energetically it was intense, physical energy. But as far as wacky stuff that went on, so far, pretty good. But you never know.
Yeah. Eclipse effects can last for months to years after. So
years?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
yeah, that's the way they work. And this one was just, with the moon. This is the first total lunar eclipse we've had over our area of the world in several years at this point. So, the area, I feel like location wise, where the eclipse actually goes over, can usually feel things more than when you're not in the geographic location where the shadow happens. But last night here on the East Coast, it was cloudy. So I was kind of grateful for that, because I think maybe it dimmed the energy a little bit. If anyone listened to the one show I did where I shared my solar eclipse experience from last year, that was a doozy. So I'm kind of at this point, I'm done with watching. I'm done with, if it's going over me, I'm staying inside. I'm going to sleep if it's overnight. So it was full on energetic protection last night for me. So
yeah, same.
Yeah.
Same. So I passed out for over 2 hours after work, and then I went to bed at 8:30 also. So
yeah,
I'm just I'm all right with this one as far as observation. I don't know.
Yeah.
Not that I'm over it, but that I couldn't even try to stay awake. I don't know. So
yeah. It was on the south node of the moon, which is where energy gets drained and released from. So that explains the exhaustion. I started feeling it last month when the moon met up with the south node. I noticed that I was really tired for those couple days. And I've seen some other people reporting the same thing around that time of the month. And this is a new energy for us since they shifted back in January. So last month was the first time, I think, that we experienced the moon and the south node meeting up. And now the second time around, it's a big eclipse. So it makes sense that you'd feel drained and tired.
yeah. I actually had to take some medication for, I was getting muscular headache, my whole, I don't know, everything was just which I very rarely take anything for that, but I knew if I didn't, that I would probably end up really sick by the time it was nighttime. So I'm glad I did that. I woke up feeling much better. Still sleepy, but not in pain, and not not unable to keep my eyes open like yesterday. That was wild. Yeah.
I woke up with a swollen eye, I guess you could say. So like one of the things with the moon also is like just how you process things in the body, especially with it being in the sign of Virgo. It's like very much about health and like detoxing and clearing out and draining and that kind of thing. So I think it's better now. I was kind of
It
afraid I
looks,
wouldn't be able to do this with you today because of that, but
it looks
I think
normal from here.
yeah, thank you. I kind of got my hair shadow on it a little bit, but that was one of the things, just like flushing out and maybe having like things get clogged. Like I didn't know if it was like a clogged tear duct or what, but
Mm,
I experienced it in my body when I woke up. But then also we had a sewage issue with our building on Tuesday into Wednesday. So the water, like there was a clog in the pipe on the way out of the building. So like that whole thing as the moon's building was real. Like it happened
that's fun.
in our physical home. It happened in my body. So
Hmm,
it's just take extra care of yourself.
that's so interesting.
Hmm. I thought so too.
Yeah, I feel like that's totally connected. That is not unrelated.
Yeah. And that just being kind of more to do with the underlying planetary energies involved and not exactly the moon itself, although they overlapped for sure. But yeah. So I see there's one person on. I don't know if that's us. So you want to just pull some collective cards and see if anyone
Mhm.
joins us, and if not, we'll cap it out for today and deliver this to people as a replay.
Sure do.
All right. Would you like to go first, or do you want me to?
I don't know. I'll go first if you want.
Yeah, go ahead.
What are
So
the
we're pulling
what are the
from Diana
dragons have to
Cooper's.
say?
Yeah, we're pulling from Diana
Yeah.
Cooper's Dragons Oracle for everyone who,
Yep, I got the same one.
yeah, tuning in. Perfect.
I wonder if there's more dragon decks. I should put
I
my
was just
feelers out.
thinking the same thing. I don't know. I'm not sure. She's like the dragon lady.
Yeah. All right, so I pulled Earth and Water Dragon. That's interesting because that's
Perfect.
like
That's
me.
exactly what we're in.
Yeah. I feel like this dragon would represent me being Taurus, Scorpio, Scorpio, like water,
Oh my God,
earth.
Jess. I was sorry. I just can't.
What? Really?
Really?
What the f-
Okay, go
Wait, can
ahead.
we swear on Substack?
We pulled the same card.
Wild. Okay.
Jess and I are like over 200 miles apart, y'all.
Yeah,
Okay,
that
go
was not on purpose.
Taurus
So,
Scorpio.
Earth and Water Dragon creates the foundation for new growth. A fresh start is coming with new opportunities. Nurture your ideas and harvest the abundance. So, ooh, look at all the fireflies in this picture.
Hmm.
Do you see? Is that an eclipse in the back?
Yes, or a new moon. Either or.
Wow, okay.
I'll just hold it up while you're talking so we can do the visual since we pulled the same card.
So this feels like new moonish energy, even though it's a full moon. Um, but I guess, is that the eclipse talking about a fresh start type thing, you think?
So well, yes, this is the first eclipse in the sign of Virgo we've had in like roughly 8-9 years. So
Wow.
the nodes just shifted in January. This is like a brand new energy. We're now in a different series of eclipses. Last 18 months was fire and air. So now we are in earth and water, with the south node being in Virgo and the north node being in Pisces. That's earth and
Wow.
water respectively. So with this one, it's a clearing out. So in order for something new to come in, a fresh start, like we're in the spring season, we're kind of getting into that energy anyway. So yeah, in order for things to come in that are new, sometimes we have to clear things out and we have to go through some kind of a death, which I'm in this process myself very intimately and deeply, and have been
Mhm.
since December essentially. So
Yeah.
yeah, very, very relevant to the signs, very relevant to the elements that we're now in, very relevant to the season here in the Northern Hemisphere. So,
It feels really
mhm.
it feels really solid though to me somehow. I don't know if that's the right word, but it feels really like safe. I don't know. It feels like like the new start, the new fresh, new this, new that doesn't feel like sometimes for me it can feel ungrounded or like up here in or something like that. That's not making sense maybe, but like the foundation for new growth, it just feels grounded instead of airy to me. It
Mm-hmm.
feels different somehow. Like the water part, that's movement, but the earth part makes it feel safe to me. Because the unknown, I mean, I know my mind knows that the unknown is not necessarily dangerous, but something about my nervous system and the unknown gives me anxiety sometimes, but this energy is not doing that. It feels solid to me. Or like my feet are solid on something solid instead of. Is that making sense to you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. Mm-hmm. Keep
And,
going.
so I split the deck like this, and the other card that was on the other side is Earth Dragon. So I
Nice.
got Earth and Water, and then Earth. As I'm talking about the groundedness, it says clears your path and the land around you. Stay grounded. Be ready to serve. Stuck energy is clearing. You can move forward in life. That's super
Mm.
similar to this, but it is talking about the grounded part. But also in this Earth Dragon picture, I see the blue that looks like water to me.
Mm-hmm.
What? There we go. You see how it's going up? The blue
Yes, I
is
do.
going up into it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not water, but it kind of still gives me that same feeling. Clears your path and the land around you. Well, an eclipse can certainly do that.
Oh yeah, especially on the south node of the moon, which clears and empties out. It's a release point.
So stuck energy is clearing is probably related to that.
Yeah, and like I said, like one of the vibes, one of the things that was typical with this one to be expected was clogging. So that energy is there too. So I think it's a nudge for us to take part in the process of that clearing too. Like we can do things to energetically clear if there's something that we do every day, or when we feel like it's needed. Maybe it's a nudge to do it even more.
Hmm. It's interesting to feel the movement, but also to feel grounded for me personally. That I feel like that's kind of new for me because usually when things are moving, I'm not um I'm not able to feel. I don't know why the word solid keeps coming up, but I don't know if that's really what I mean, but secure maybe. If solid and secure could mix into one word,
Mm,
uh that's the difference this time.
I love that.
Like I'm not afraid of what might go on. Whereas in the past, I've been super apprehensive about an upcoming eclipse, for example, or, you know,
Hmm.
just because things have gone certain ways in the past with eclipses. Now, at this point in my life, I don't feel like it always has to be insane. Because it has been insane in the past. But when I look at what else was going on in my life, how much attention I was paying to certain things versus others, very different than now. So that could also play a part in why the eclipse feels different to me.
Hmm.
The things that I'm paying attention to and putting my energy into, and choices I've been consistently making, and even when they're difficult, stuff like that. Uh, I think it all plays into how an eclipse will go for someone.
Agreed. Totally agreed. And that I'm kind of there with you this time around because I knew it was coming and I knew it was going to be on my moon essentially. And direct hits on natal planets usually have more of an impact and effect. So I've just surrendered to it at this point. And that's sort of the energy that I went into it with as well. But I do appreciate the nudge to clear from that dragon message from the Earth Dragon.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And it says clearing, so it's like not something that we have to will into existence. It's like just it feels like it's just like with the ing,
mm-hmm.
it's it's in the process of we don't have to really it makes me feel like I don't really have to do anything in particular because it's just ing.
Yes. Well, that's how the dragons work, right? I mean, they're constantly helping us. They're like the overtime workers, I think, of the elemental realm because they're always there. They're helping Earth. They're helping us. They're helping other planets and galaxies and all the things and stars, and they're just like in the background doing this all the time. Like that's just their job. I mean, we can call on them like we would anything else, but they're still always doing like the angels, like they're all just doing their thing and doing their work that they're supposed to do anyway. And then they
Mm-hmm.
like interact with us more during these times and then when we call on their energies. So I just feel like giving them a little bit of attention and honor and gratefulness that they deserve is, and the gratitude is important, especially during these times when they're close.
Yeah, I completely agree. The dragons are a big deal in my life for quite a while now. So when you asked me to do this, I was like, yes, definitely do.
Yeah. So we did have one person join. I'm wondering if you can comment if you'd like a reading or just to say hi. I just want to see if it comes through as far as what we can see on the screen. So experimentation continues.
Yeah, we've never used this platform before in this way.
Yeah.
It was
So,
interesting
oh,
getting on.
yep. There's hi, Leslie. I didn't want to say it
Oh,
if you
yay.
didn't want to not like say announce your presence, but okay, I can
Hi.
see that. Thank you. So yes, you do. Yes, I know that you do. Leslie loves dragons too. If you'd like a card, just let us know and we'll pull for you, Leslie. Thank you for being on and joining us today. Hi.
Mm, that's
So
cool.
I'll turn
It's
it up.
working.
Yeah, I didn't know what to expect. So this is really seamless and she wants a card. Yes.
Cool,
So
especially with
let's
Mercury
each pull.
retrograde starting.
Hey, you know what? Why not do it during the time when could be most challenging? Just like work right through it.
Yeah, yeah. That way, any other time will be easier. Maybe.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and that's the other thing we haven't even talked about yet is Mercury's first retrograde of the year starts tomorrow. So it definitely has an effect on the energy of this full moon and the eclipse and everything because it was in Virgo and Mercury rules the sign of Virgo. So there might be like a delay in the clearing, a delay in the things just because the ruling planet of the whole event is at a standstill in the sky. So we have that element as well, just so everybody listening knows that that's another factor that was playing into everything and still is right now too. So, all right, Jess, let's pull for Leslie. Hmm. I got it. You mind if I go?
Mm-hmm. No,
Okay.
I mean,
All right, Leslie. The dragon card for you for today is Kuan Yin's Pink Dragon. Brings firm love that resets your karmic balance. See all your cords dissolved by transcendent love. Enjoy your freedom. Look for the divine around you. So I'm pretty sure that this is one badass energy. And with all of the pink around, everything infused into the pink lotus, different lotus colors mean different things. So I'm pretty sure that this is a very powerful nudge for you to just remember the love and keep leading from your heart. And if your heart says no, we learned this from you many years ago. If it's a no, it's a no. I'm bleeping the curse word that was put in there. And if it's a yes, it's a yes. So, your heart knows the way, you lead from there, and then just trust that the cords that may have been kind of blocking or energetically holding you back before, just call on this dragon, call on Kuan Yin, and they will help you and assist you in that clearing out that may still need to be done. So there is that one for you for today. And then Jess, what have you got for Leslie?
Yep. So when two came out, first one is Aqua. I don't know if I've ever pulled this one. This is beautiful. Aquamarine Dragon from Neptune.
Mm.
Is Neptune involved in all this?
Mm-hmm.
It is. I thought so. I thought so. Okay. So
Heavily.
figures. Of course. Aquamarine Dragon from Neptune enables you to access your deepest soul wisdom. Spirituality and wisdom are available to you. Develop your psychic abilities and receive ineffable soul knowledge. So, sorry, guys. Oh my gosh. Okay, sorry. Okay.
You're good. Just pull it back a little bit.
Okay.
There you go. Perfect.
I just think this is the most beautiful. The card is a lot more vibrant blue, but I'm loving how it's in the water, like it's like a seahorse, but it's not. But then it's surrounded by seahorses. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
that's just
That's cool.
beautiful. Mm-hmm. Enables you to access your deepest soul wisdom. So this is saying that, I mean, sometimes it sounds cliche when you're like, you have all the answers you need inside yourself or whatever, but like that is actually for real with this one. It feels like your answers are available to you. Any answers that you need are available to you because you have the experience that's given you wisdom. If I'm hearing the word like discernment, like you already know. It feels like answers to questions are already inside of you, like your emotional state, and that maybe if you're unsure of something, it's your brain causing the trouble. And so just to stop listening to your brain for now, not for always, but right now I'm feeling like saying, if you have questions, ask your body the questions and your answers will come. It's a way to bypass the mind, which will always ask a million questions to get you to like question yourself. But then also here it says develop your psychic abilities. And so and this dragon's holding a key.
Mm-hmm.
So it feels like and again, just it also feels necessary to say getting quiet inside of yourself. So I don't know if you do meditation, but if you ask questions while you're in a state of like inner quietude, that it feels like you'll actually hear answers, like clairaudience. It feels like you'll actually hear answers, not just thoughts and stuff. I feel like you will feel and hear your answers, but you're also be able to actually hear things too. But also don't be afraid of that. You're not schizophrenic, like, because it's you talking to you. It's not like, it's you accessing your soul answers. And then the other card that came out is Royal Blue and Gold Dragon. Now this guy, wow. That's like king right there, that guy. And look at the sword. He don't care. um Strengthens you to stand in your power with wisdom. So there's wisdom on this card here, talking about your internal wisdom, soul wisdom. And then on this one, talking about he's strengthening you to stand in your power and wisdom. Awaken to your own majesty. Wear your cloak of power with pride. So don't be afraid of the answers that you get. Because I feel like the questions you might have they feel like they're bigger questions. It's not just like, oh, what should I make for dinner? It's like what the questions seem like bigger concept questions. And so when you receive a big answer, which I feel like you will, don't be afraid of that answer. Know that you're up to the task, whatever it might be. But I also feel like it's necessary to say that you can take small steps toward a goal. It doesn't have to be. So if you're at number 1 and you want to reach number 100, you don't have to do that in one leap or 2 leaps. You can do it in a series of 100 small steps, not just a leap from 1 to 50 and then again from 50 to 100. It can be, you can still get there 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like it doesn't have to be intimidating. Even though the answer you receive might be lofty and grand, it doesn't have to be like something unattainable. Does that make sense? Yeah. I feel like clairaudience is a big one, like the hearing things, hearing your answers. And so that is leading me to say, anytime you have a question about anything, just ask it. Just ask it, and then but pay attention to your answers. Don't dismiss the answers. Yeah.
I was
And they're
thinking,
both blue.
yeah, they're
There's so
both
many
blue.
shades of blue here. Oh my gosh, this camera. Oh my god. There. Okay, there. So many shades of blue, like all the way from gray, like the light blue, all the way to the dark blue. So I also feel like that's going to have something to do with your throat chakra. And yeah, the key, there's something going on with the unlocking of, it feels like the unlocking of your own like psychic talent or intuitive abilities or practice or sharing of those things. And for some reason, this guy's sword is making me think of Archangel Michael and his sword, which I know has a lot to do with confidence, I believe. So perhaps the key is confidence in the answers that you're receiving to the questions that you ask. Confidence that, like, you don't need outside agreement or reinforcement, that your own internal answers are correct and are enough to proceed with. You don't need to ask anyone outside of yourself whether or not it's a good idea, for example. Yeah. Yep. That's what I got. But also, wait, you know what? There's also a bunch of orange here. So would that be sacral stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. So there's that too, just thrown in there.
So I have blue crystals all over the place around me right now. So I was thinking, we could just kind of go there too. So, and Leslie said her dragon is pink and blue and pink. So this is very, very appropriate.
Awesome.
So the royal gold, royal blue and gold, whatever that one was,
Hmm.
lapis is a really cool stone for that because it has that deep, deep blue, but it has the I think it's is it copper that's in lapis? I forget what the color comes from the gold, but that one
Mm,
is actually right next to me, so I picked that one up. And then with the other one, with the Neptunian, the aquamarine, anything
mm.
light blue, like blue lace agate, aquamarine itself, or this is heavy morphite. So just like it's just saying so much about throat and third eye chakras, and I just had these stones here, so I figured I'd pull that in because they can always be helpful
You
to
said
us.
third eye.
Yep, you're welcome,
So
Leslie. Thank you
I
for being.
was I was really drawn to these. They both have these things
Yeah,
on their. Oh, come on, Jess. On the in their third eye. Oh my gosh.
they do. Here, I'll
Next
hold
time
it
it'll
up.
be
Here,
better, everyone. I promise.
there it is.
Yeah. So they each have something on their third eye that I was being drawn to visually.
Yeah.
So when you just said that, and now I'm coughing like in my
Mm-hmm.
throat. So speak up, Leslie. You have that power. This is pretty lovely. And also I'm drawn to this cloak or blanket or whatever that is.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Wear your cloak of power with pride is the message.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awaken to your own majesty. Wear your cloak of power with pride.
Yeah, I mean, not everybody's unique and everybody has things to offer that nobody else could offer in the same way. And truly feeling that is really important, I think, for you. Not that you don't know, but like, it feels like you're much mightier than you are behaving. Um, you are much stronger than you let on, maybe. Enough of that.
I think too, like sometimes we just get forced into a timeout and the rest is needed. I think Leslie too, for you, just like giving your mind a rest is really important right now because when you have those times where you can really go within and just be quiet and still, those are the times where you're most open to receive the messages that are trying to be delivered. And
Yeah.
just because these cards came out, highly recommend tapping into the energies of these three dragons that came to say hi and bring you these messages today. So calling them in, working with them in particular, and you're already familiar with your personal dragon, which is beautiful. So maybe they can all just kind of work as a team in tandem, especially during this time when they're close, these next couple of weeks, and then another 2 weeks out after that into April when the eclipse season finally closes. Just maybe work with them a little extra, and they can, whether in your waking day or during your nighttime in your dreams, like whatever, they'll just ask them. So I know that you know that, but just wanted to give a little nudge because I feel like those three in particular came in today for a very specific reason.
I think I think letting them do work in the night is a good idea
Yeah, because that
because
third eye dream
um,
dream work too.
dragons are so intense, or well, they can be, that let them do their work while we're like literally unconscious can be helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah. And yeah, also different part, like our brains never stop even though we're sleeping. So I think that they might even be able to help more in that state, actually. And I kind of feel like, well, no, I am going to say that things that you will remember from your dreams are things that are real. Yeah. Not just talking about dragons. I am feeling like saying to you, your dreams are not dreams. I mean, you're asleep, but it's like not your imagination. It's not. I think that the things that go on in your dreams are real. I'll just leave it at that. Yeah.
Love it.
It looks like this dragon has like a big crystal right here too, like a big blue crystal there. So pretty.
Yeah, there's something on the heart.
Mm-hmm.
There's a blue stone on the third eye, and then in the center of the trident, and then also on the heart.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
So if you've got any blue crystals, perhaps keep them close by. Neptune. That's oh well, that's why he's underwater with the trident, right?
Yeah.
Ah, got it.
Yeah. The symbol for the planet Neptune is a trident.
Isn't that also the name of the sea god in, I don't know, is it Roman, whatever?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's Neptune and Poseidon are equivalent.
Right. Yeah.
Roman and Greek.
Gotcha.
Love it. Love how the water came in today too, because that's just and I did, Jess. I felt called to pull a Sacred Rebels card for just like
Oh, good.
a collective reading. So just because Uranus was also heavily involved in the energy of last night's full moon and eclipse, so I always use Sacred Rebels when we're talking about Uranian energy, individuation, all that kind of stuff, like just revolutionary stuff. And that's where we're at with a lot of things. So I pulled Visions of Life Beyond Death, card number 44. So like this definitely brings us into that dream state, that Piscean energy that we're in, where Neptune's just been sitting at the last degree of the zodiac for a long time. It's about to shift at the end of the month. But we also have the personal planets and a lot just going back and forth over this 29th degree of Pisces, which is like the ultimate degree of transcendence. It's the end. It's, into the next phase. So life beyond death, like the spirit world, everything beneath the surface that we can't see, but we can sense is there. Like we're talking about all of that, especially with the energies that we're in right now and moving into the rest of the year. So this is just super cool because just look how beautiful all that is with the owl and the peacock and
that's a peacock. Of
yep.
course it. I can't even. The peacock. I'll tell you later, but yeah, of course that's there. That's wild. And then on her third eye,
full moon.
Yeah.
Full moon right there. And then on her third eye, there's some kind of symbol in here. I can't really tell what it is. It looks like some kind of stone that's on the third eye. Maybe it's moonstone or something like that.
No, I just picked up. Okay,
skull.
I just picked up this deck for no apparent reason, and
peacock.
Yep.
Go for it. Continue the reading.
So I just when this is I'll digress like big time if I really go into it, but like on Wednesday I had an experience that involved peacock, and it was to do with mediumship stuff, and and yesterday I was telling my partner about it because it was pretty wild, and then here it is again, and then I was just saying of course it's a peacock, and then I pick up this deck off my thing, and the card on the bottom is the friggin' peacock. Like, okay, I get it. Okay. Do I need to get a pet peacock or something? I don't know.
There's like a crow or a raven in there too. There's like a black. You can see the black bird. So like that symbol of the death coming into the energy of the card. Saturn, which is also very involved in last night's energies and the energies right now too. So just like all of them coming together. But elaborate as much as you want on the peacock. Go ahead.
Oh, well, I don't know. But also that owl with would represent wisdom to me as well.
Yep.
And maybe like, well, I don't really gravitate towards the word omen too much because it's kind of like got a connotation to it, but like signs, let's say, synchronicity, like things that you're noticing, signs are connected. Just know they're connected. Whenever an owl shows up, it for me, it talks about like personal wisdom and synchronicities lining up, and to pay attention to them. Because I feel like the more you pay attention to them, the more they will occur.
Agreed.
And if you follow them, it'll bring you in a direction that you really do want to go. Yeah. I wonder what's with the peacock, though. I don't know what they represent, really. I'll have to look into that.
Mm.
My
Leslie is hopping off, so just thank you for joining, Leslie, and you're very welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for helping us with our experiment.
Yes, much appreciated. Do you want to? So each of these cards has a healing process that goes with them, and this one's kind of shorter than some of them. So, do you mind if we read that for anybody that's catching the replay and wants to do it?
Oh, me? Of course not.
Okay. So here we go. This is the healing process for visions of life beyond death. Say aloud, I now release any fear I have associated with seeing truth, with seeing beyond the veil of illusion, or with my inner vision opening up from my heart, mind, and body. I release any wounding I have received in relation to what I have witnessed at any time, especially where it is based in the fearful responses of others.
Wow.
I ask that my vision be restored to its fullness through compassion and unconditional love. So be it.
Wow, that's a biggie.
Isn't that cool? And this is the second to last card in the whole deck. I love that for
that one. Wow, that hit me like real heavy. Not heavy in a bad way, but like wow.
Mm.
Big fat yes on that.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
And what was the last bit about compassion and love?
It said,
We got a lens of something.
I ask that my vision be restored to its fullness through compassion and unconditional love.
So for me, I'm immediately drawn back to that Kuan Yin dragon
Mm-hmm.
with the whole compassion thing, because that's her jam, right?
Yeah.
And so perhaps that dragon can help doing that. In doing so, you could call on Kuan Yin dragon to help you view through love and compassion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we're in Venus retrograde right now, so just leading with the heart, whatever's tugging at your heartstrings, like all of that comes up during these times as well. So it's not just, the eclipse energies that we're in. There's a whole other soup of planetary and cosmic energies kind of working on us all month. So that one that popped in with the Kuan Yin with the color pink, like that was the only one that wasn't related to earth or fire, or earth or water that we pulled. So just that reminder, I think, from Venus, and Venus does relate to peacocks also, just so you know.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know that.
So having that stuff and those symbols and everything come in during the retrograde, that's sort of ongoing at this point. It has been since the first, to pull that into the messages, like they're speaking to us too. And heart stuff definitely comes up, relationships, exes of
I was just
all
gonna say
kinds.
that's relationship stuff,
Yeah.
and not
And
just romantic,
right.
at
And the
all.
Venus retrograde's going over Aries and Pisces. So that's one of the ones like I was referring to when I said that 29th degree is getting a lot of action. Mercury will too, from Aries to Pisces and then back. So they're all kind of going from the beginning to the end, back then back again, carrying new messages into the, whatever new energy at the Aries point, the 0 degree of the zodiac. We have the equinox coming this month as well. So the sun crossing over that degree, the moon, all of it, just a solar eclipse in 2 weeks. It's important to pull in that transcendental energy.
Last year, during the spring lunar eclipse, was massively whack for me. And
Mhm.
so I'm just like now reflecting on the differences but in 1 year. They're so enormous
Mhm.
that I can't believe I haven't thought about this yet. I will be thinking about it probably for the rest of the day, because not to get into it, but it was like major upheaval to the day last year. It was like I couldn't even have I couldn't even have planned it myself anymore to the minute. Like so,
Mhm.
and then I'm thinking about the differences in the people around me that were involved in that huge upheaval stuff at the time, and it's like those situations have really changed as well for the better. So super interesting upon
Mhm.
reflection. Yeah. Whew.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's wild. And do
Yes.
you think that has to do with the internal work of the individual?
Absolutely. I think when we get some kind of upheaval, it's just a signal to where we might need to dive a little deeper, in our lives and ourselves and in the path that we're on. Because
Hmm.
that's how it work. They nudge you through either rapid or subtle change more on path. They clear out, they eclipse things from your life that are no longer serving you.
Yeah.
And that's been, my God, how much was eclipsed out of my life last year.
Hmm. Same people, places,
So
things, everything. And
work.
uh, last year, the lunar eclipse in March was like, it just brought things that were consistently swept under the rug. It just threw the whole rug out the window. Like,
Yeah. It
so,
brings things to the surface. They're like amplified
yeah.
new and full moons. So
And
the hidden
I
stuff comes
have
out.
I've not replaced the rug, so it's like, because nothing's getting swept anywhere except for out the door, there's really nothing hidden anymore. I mean, I'm sure now that I say that, right? But um, you know, things that I knew were on purpose not being spoken about by certain people and stuff like that. Like, just there's just zero of that anymore. And in my very close personal relationships, those people don't do that anymore. And if they do, we don't have a relationship anymore. Like, um, or at least it's morphed to the point where I'm not affected by people who sweep their shit under the rug. I wonder if you can swear on Substack, but yeah, it's just
We'll
super
see.
interesting. Yeah.
I bleeped the F words earlier because I wasn't sure. So, but I think that's okay. That's a pretty common one.
Do
Everybody
do.
bleeps.
Yeah, I'll say do do.
I love that. Thank you for sharing that and for, making the connections and relating them back to last spring, because it was just really a year ago, but it feels like a lifetime ago, especially with all of the change that happened, from then until now.
Hmm. Even
Yeah.
changes inside my home, in my romantic relationships, have gotten better because that rug has never been replaced. you
Hmm.
know, and the importance of leaving the dirt visible. Because I'm speaking in whatever, but like if you see a pile of dirt on the floor, you're gonna say something about it versus like it's hidden under some. I think maybe that's why this eclipse hasn't like smacked me in the face so far, because
Hmm.
I've maintained the open whatever.
Yeah. The detoxification energy in this particular one, especially the ones that are coming while the South Node is in Virgo, is a real thing in our
Yeah.
bodies, our environments, in our lives, and health. We're seeing this on a grand scale now. Also, like cleaning up our food and water and So it's all very, very, very relevant and related to the energies that we're in.
That makes sense. Things that I'm more drawn to look into, even during certain times, it relates.
Hmm.
And then I think to myself, I wonder why that became so interesting to me over something else. And then you describing certain things, I'm like, oh, well, maybe that's influenced by what's going on above us.
Hmm.
That's possible, right?
Yep, absolutely. It's a very collective and also personal experience with everything.
Yeah. Whenever I feel like something super strongly, I think to myself, I can't be the only one if I'm feeling it so strongly. I mean, certain things I know are individual to me, but I can now kind of tell the difference between something that is collective that I am lumped into versus something that's very individual to me. So I think it's important to talk when I
Yeah.
feel it, but even, well, individually too, but I mean, certainly when I feel the different type, like, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
It's important to talk about it
It
because
is.
we cannot possibly be the only ones. We're
No.
we're just we're just tuned in maybe, but doesn't mean that consciously tuned in. I think there's a lot of people that are subconsciously tuned in, and so they feel and do things and they're not exactly sure why, but they're still tuned in enough to the point where they're doing them and thinking those things. So just to hear someone else talk about it could help them maybe not feel alone or think, oh, this is a thing, or
Hmm.
that it's important. I've had enough like separation.
Yeah. And it's definitely too just facing that fear. Like if you're subconsciously tuned in or you're still in your own deconditioning process from upbringing or whatever it is, like releasing subconscious behavior patterns comes up a lot too with lunar eclipses and moon energy. So
Mm.
just like finding somebody that you trust and having this conversation or just like saying, hey, look, I'm feeling this, are you feeling that too? Or so you just like tapping into spirit with somebody else, like what we're doing here. I mean, we're recording it and doing it live because that's where we're at, but I remember the days when I was afraid to talk about a feeling that I had or a dream that I had or whatever because I was scared, one, myself of what it was, but also of sharing it with somebody and what they might think about me after I say something like that. So
Mhm.
we're very much being drawn into being more aware of, but also comfortable and less fearful of the unknown and spirit. Like that's where the growth point is right now for all of us.
Mhm.
So as these eclipses start happening more when they're fully in the Virgo and Pisces axis as we get into later this year, that's going to be a theme, a big theme. So like the energies involved with this one kind of are just like bringing all of it up. And now we can move forward for the next 18 months, really kind of in the energy of making effort to test the waters, dive in a little bit deeper, face the fear, overcome the fear, even though it's getting out of your comfort zone, letting go of control, like surrendering to the unknown, that kind of stuff. Like that's where we're all at on a collective path, but we all have to face our own individual journey and be on our individual path to get there. So it's very much in alignment, very much in tune.
I also feel like it's important to say something about community and conversation being important, even though we are on individual paths. I think that community is important
It is.
and feeling like you're a part of something,
Mm-hmm.
not
Belonging.
isolating.
Yeah.
Yeah, that feels important to mention. Like don't get stuck in your thoughts. Make your thoughts turn your thoughts into conversations
Yeah. I
with
love
people
that.
you trust, obviously, you know. But sometimes I don't even. Sometimes it takes me talking about something that I'm thinking to even understand what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well.
Do you want to mention the class that we did and how
Oh
people
yeah.
can find that if they want to learn more about dragons and if you're offering dragons still, if you want to mention that and then we can close out.
Yeah. So was it?
November of 23.
I'm like, what year was that even? What day is it? Yeah. So Ursula and I did such an awesomely fun class for me, even as like presenting it. How to meet and harness your personal dragons. Because everybody definitely has one or more, at least one. And so we went into how to recognize them when they show up, how to communicate with them, the times of the year that they show up more intensely. I remember I put some stuff in there about like the constellations and the root of words like around the world that mean dragon. They all sound the same, and why is that? Even the constellation is, I don't know, I kind of got off a little bit onto a tangent of like, were they physical beings that, like, I obviously don't know that answer, but it raises the question of if they're interdimensional travelers, or if they actually did exist on the 3D plane at one time, or if it's all like ethereal stuff. I mean, that's up to you and your own belief system, but it did. We really explored a lot of different things in that class. Plus, there were pictures of like dragons in the clouds that, like, to me, it couldn't be anything else. That's like how intense some of those photos are. Like the one of the above your condo at the time with the dragon like eating your house or whatever it was.
It was during an eclipse and it was gobbling up the moon. Like
Yeah.
that's on point with the whole myth, and it was just incredible. I couldn't believe I saw it.
Yeah, and pictures to prove it. So that was super fun to do with you. I had never taught a class like on, certainly like at all, let alone on something like that. So it was a really great experience for me. And I am offering Organite Soul Dragons still. I'm working on my own personal website where those will be offered. But it is not. Oh, is that the younger Pembroke?
That's the younger Pembroke.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so they are always coming in differently. Ursula's still unmatched experience with Ursula's. I was so confused because I thought there was two dragons, but it turns out they were the same one at different points in Ursula's life. So anyway, I channel the person's personal dragon if they have not met them before. I help introduce the person to them. If they have already met them, I work with what they know of their dragon, and I go from there. So I'll make them into an Organite. I'm download the ingredients unless the person has a preference. And each crystal has something that it's attributed to, and yeah, how can you reach me for that? I don't know. Email at this point. I don't have my website yet, but I know this is Substack, but I'm always on Facebook Messenger, and my email is Jessica May Connect at gmail.com. That's my new business email. And my website will be jessicamaykonnect.com. That's coming in the very, very near future. Just have to finish up the last page of it. So, yeah, I feel like I've been cocooning a bit, actually.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Doing this today has been me coming out of the cocoon in a very big, brief way, and I'm ready to go back.
same here. Like, I'm glad we've done this, though.
Yeah.
For sure. It was nice to see Leslie on as well.
Yeah. If this feels good. Like, I've just been so cocooned that I haven't really been working too much either, and just getting on pulling cards and pulling the same card when we first started was just like, okay, like this is all still so connected, and I'm just
Yeah, we're still tuned in to each other and everything else.
yeah. And just so
Everybody.
everybody knows, The dragons class that we were talking about is on my website, available as a download. So you can get the whole recording, the presentation, and the slides in a bundle. And that's right on my services page. If you just scroll down to the downloadable class library, you can get that right there. So you can just, tune into the recorded version if you'd like to dive in more and learn how to harness the power of your dragon in the dragon realm. So that was one that we did record and make available after class, which was cool.
I loved doing that.
Me too.
It was super fun to organize, and like it was even really fun to put it together, with you,
Yeah,
like
to go through like
working it
my
out.
pictures and yeah. And we based a lot of the teaching part on Diana Cooper's book that the
Mhm.
Dragon's Deck accompanies. So there's a lot of material from that in there as well, just like talking about how the dragons are, come in all different forms and ways, and with the elemental associations as well. Like the first card we pulled was earth and water, so there are combinations of the elements in the dragon realm too, but then the earth one does stand alone. So they do have this blending of the energies that they come in as well. So that was cool that we pulled, from different, and one from Kuan Yin, and then Neptune. So they have planetary dragons, galaxy dragons, star dragons, like intergalactic dragons. There's all different kinds. So we do teach a lot about that in that class as well as our personal shares. And we both tell our personal stories about how we met our
Yeah.
dragons. And yeah, that was 2017 for me. So a throwback to that time.
I
The
think
8 years.
mine was 2020 maybe with the dragon stuff, and it's a quite intense story. There's just never in a million years did I think, if I look back at myself 10 years ago, the stuff coming out of my mouth these days, I that I know to be true though. So it's like it's for real, because I can even say like I shock myself as to the things that I now know to be true, that
Mm.
I speak about, and I'm like, wow, did you think this would be going on? Nope. But here I am. you know,
Yeah.
Wild. So the potential, if you work with your dragons, the potential for growth, accelerated growth, I should say, is just, it's inevitable, really. I think
Mm-hmm.
so. They're super super strong, sometimes fierce, but always understanding and not giving you things that you can't handle.
Mm-hmm.
There are certain dragons I've encountered for people that are a lot more no nonsense than others, but it always felt like that had to do with that person's personality and tendencies, not to do with like abrasiveness of the dragon. It feels like
Mm-hmm.
that dragon is the person's personal dragon, and so they know what they're having to work around. And so at first sometimes I was like, should I say this to that person? It's like, yeah, yes. Because it's not you speaking.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to get over my human, you know. 'Cause
Yeah. Deliver the
it
message.
really has nothing to do with me or what I think about anything. It's just I'm kind of just delivering the message, or like delivering something from here to here,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not my advice. It's not my dragon. It's just that I happen to be someone who can do that. I guess I don't know, whatever it is, a conduit or something. Is that a good word for that? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Super interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Because they didn't come to me by accident either. I so nothing that a dragon does is by accident at all. I can tell you that.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Yeah. You might not be thrilled about the messages they bring you, but it is absolutely 100% always going to be what you need.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's a mic drop statement to end today's live on. Yeah.
It's been a
So,
pleasure.
yeah, it has been a pleasure. And so this worked out beautifully. We still have some eclipse season left, so maybe we'll come back before this one's over, or maybe not. We'll see. But yeah, stay tuned on Substack for the announcement on
We
that.
can come back to the solar.
Yeah, I think that might be a cool thing to do to wrap up the first one of the year, and that'll be a whole different energy. So we might get, fire
Yeah.
dragons at that point rather than the water and the earth. So that'll be the wrap up of the Aries eclipses. So that one will be in Aries, not in Pisces this time around. So yeah, so just stay tuned. I'll definitely send out email announcement if that we are going to do that again. And yeah, until the replay will be up, so anyone that missed today's live can watch this after the fact on Substack. And I might post some clips elsewhere. We'll see. I'll see how I follow the instructions of what to do after this is over. So just thanks for experimenting with me, Jess, and for being here and for
Yeah,
sharing in the readings.
no problem. My pleasure. My pleasure. You know, I'm all about the dragons too. So,
Yeah. All right. So till next time. Bye.
bye.